Hello, welcome back. This is our second edition of South Bridge Street Live. I'm Ingrid Sparkman, the hostess, and this evening we have a very special guest, a dear friend, Pablo Perez, who is going to tell us about lots of stuff. But one thing in particular, this Saturday, there is going to be an incredible event honoring veterans from South Texas in the 361 area code called 361 Honor 361 Battle for the Monument.
Correct.
Excellent. And so tell me about tell me about how you are involved in the organization Honor 361.
Okay. Honor 361 is a nonprofit here locally, and our goal is to build a monument and honor those fallen, those who have served in the 361 area code and have fallen in Iraq and Afghanistan. As a whole, we want to honor everyone who served in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and of course, Iraq and Afghanistan. One of the things we're doing is holding the event this Saturday called Battle for the Monument.
I've seen pictures on Facebook. It looks awesome.
From last year's? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. We have so far we have a little over 60 teams signed up from all over the state to come in and compete in CrossFit, and we have two
CrossFit.
Yes.
Are you actually in the battle?
No, I'm not.
I'm not. I won't be in the battle either.
I will watch. I'll make a speech there.
I'll cheer from the side.
That's what I'm going to do.
Awesome.
The event's open to people to just come watch. It is at FSU CrossFit.
Wonderful. What a great,
North Star Drive.
Cool place. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And also it's being hosted by them, and also 302 CrossFit. So we have two CrossFit boxes that they've been supporting our organization for a while with this event, and we're blessed to have all those people come in and raise some funds for this organization for our goal.
So the team's already in place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So you couldn't register now?
No, ma'am. The last day to register, the deadline was Sunday.
Oh, it was Sunday.
Yes,
okay, all right. But the event is this Saturday?
The event is a Saturday.
Cool.
It starts at 8 a.m.
And you said how many people have registered?
We have 60 teams.
60 teams?
Yes, ma'am. So
oh my gosh.
Two-man teams. It can be a co-ed, it can be female,
Uh-huh.
male teams, or co-ed teams.
Cool.
We have, for those that are advanced, they have the regular WOD. WOD stands for Workout of the Day.
Workout of the Day, I remember.
Yes, ma'am.
And burpees, I remember those too.
Burpees
That's
are good.
why I'm
Box
cheering
jumps,
from the sideline. Yeah.
Yeah. So my boss is a sponsor, so he did make me go work out with him and do that a couple times. I did not enjoy it.
You didn't do that? Yeah.
I did it, but it hurt a lot. So, but it's a good cause.
It is. It's amazing.
So
okay, so these 60 teams are there to raise money for the build of this monument?
Yes, ma'am. They did. They paid a registration fee. We are offering, and all the money goes back to the monument after we do. There will be cash prize for those who place in the competition, and so we will offer all that and give some awards out while we're there.
Oh, cool. Okay, so tell me, because I definitely want to get to the monument, because of course I feel like that's the heart of, what you and I are going to discuss. But tell me about these 60 teams, and what are some of the races, or what is some of the competitions that they're going to be doing?
Actually, we do have a Facebook page.
I saw that,
Battle for the Monument. You can look that up. We do have the WODs posted on there. There will be 3 WODs. It consists from running to finding your maxes on clean and jerks, to chest to bars, to jump ropes, to box jumps, burpees.
Okay, so let's go back to the burpees, because it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. The first day that I worked out and did the burpees, I was like, these are really not that bad. And then the next morning I couldn't walk, and it's usually like the most pain is on the 3rd day.
Yes.
And I remember coming back into FSU, and they had the PVC pipes.
Yes.
Just cut, and you would roll them so you could roll out your muscle.
Right.
And release some of those amino acids that had built up.
Help you
so
feel
that
better.
You wouldn't be. I almost threw up. That's how much pain I was in just by getting those muscles out. So the burpee. So I'm particularly interested in this burpee contest. So it's like how many burpees you can do in a.
Well, they have it specialized 2 different ways. They have the regular WOD, and they have those scaled for those who aren't as advanced for those people. So those workouts, I can't remember the specifics, but there's 3. The Ray Bazan and Isaac Amieda. They're the owners of
Yes.
302 and FSU. They're the ones who came up with the whys.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it's pretty intense. Yeah, I remember the first time I participated with my boss in the first battle, and I almost passed out. I was laid out, and everybody's walking over me asking me if I'm okay. I was like, I'm fine, just keep going. But I finished it, so it was good.
Well, on a more serious note, I mean, tell me about, I know that you're on the board of directors.
And the president.
For the president, yes, thank you. For the Honor 361, start from the very beginning, and then I definitely want our guests to know about the steps and procedures of even having a monument built.
Okay. I'll tell you what I know.
Okay, tell me what you know.
Gilbert Ramon is retired gunny for the United States Marine Corps.
You're a veteran of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Marine Corps as well.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for
Thank you.
for serving our country and
Thank
keeping our families free.
Thank you for your support.
Of course.
He came up with the idea of the monument. I met him about 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, and since then he got everything started. Him and a couple of the original members got everything started, and I met him at a funeral bringing one of our heroes back home, and that's where he told me about the organization and something I wanted. So I started helping and participating in with different things he had going on with the organization, and I saw something I wanted to be part of. Unfortunately, he had to move due to work, and he moved to the Dallas area, and yes, ma'am. And he asked me to kind of take the helms as president, and of course I had to pray about it and think about it for a very long time. It's a very serious uptaking to take, and so we did that, and we have Mike Allen as vice president. We have Dan Pulley, he is our treasurer, and we have Kat Munoz, who is a very essential part of this battle for the monument. She is our treasurer, and so there's definitely have outstanding support, not just from them, but from the community.
She's an awesome athlete.
Oh, she's awesome everything.
Yeah.
She does very well whatever she
really
does. She's
cool.
she's
That's
one
a
of
nice
the sweetest.
thing to say.
Yes, ma'am.
And she coaches kids too, which
She
I think
does.
is amazing.
Well, one of the things she does is she always tells me, Pablo, I'm not a vet. I said, it doesn't matter. You're a patriot, and she does so much for everybody. And she's an amazing woman. And she got that kids program started at FSU where they can get their PE credits.
Oh, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, she
It's
did.
such a cool. It takes a special heart, I think, to work with children.
It does.
A really special heart sometimes.
A big heart.
Right.
And so with those guys in place, we do have George Barragon is our engineer that helped design the monument.
Okay, so tell me about that. So when you came on board, when you joined the board of directors, you already had a sculptor or an artist.
Yes, his name's Francis Hinojosa. He's from Laredo. So we wanted somebody. When Gilbert came up with the idea, he wanted everything to be from Texas.
Right.
And so he did research, and we found Mr. Hinojosa. His first love is painting, but he's an amazing sculptor, and we chose him, and he agreed. And so he started already on the monument.
Wow.
And so as we raise funds, we send it to him so he can start completing it.
I think one of the big questions is, where will the monument be located?
Right now, we have a couple of places that hopefully we're presenting to City Council. We do have to have the land approved and do all that. So we have a couple of places, and once we get that narrowed down, then we'll make an announcement for that.
Oh, can you give us an idea of what some of those places would be? Is that?
I know what we would like. I'm not sure what the city will approve.
Where would you like it to be?
Where would I like it to be? I think the ideal place would be somewhere midtown, maybe by the football field, or maybe by the park, somewhere there's some land that maybe we can acquire.
Sure. Now, would a landowner just be able to donate the space for you, or how would that work?
They could, and I think I'm sure that we would have to do some dealings with the city council and the city government to get everything approved and get all that going. We are currently looking for a grant writer to help with that.
Oh, and after the show, let me tell you a couple of names of some people that I know who are incredible grant writers.
That would be amazing.
Okay, that's something that maybe I could help with.
Great. And so, depending on when we thought of the monument, and when Gilbert thought of it, and Mr. Barragon looked at everything, it's a grand scale. It's a big monument, and so there's going to be, of course, the main monument's going to be a sculpture of Colton Rusk with his dog Eli.
Yes.
And so that's going to be the main part of the monument. But also there will be honoring World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and every branch of the service, even the Boy Scouts and the Coast Guard, and placed properly retired flags. We hope to have an amphitheater where we could have community events there, and also a big enough space to hold the Field of Honor.
Pablo, I'm so sorry. What did you say about flags? The proper
way to retire a flag.
To retire a flag.
Yes, ma'am. To retire the colors, there's a certain procedure you have to do that. So, we take honor. We all served our country, and everything's about our colors and our country,
right.
And so the flag is very sacred. And to retire a flag, you have to do so properly. So we would, the Boy Scouts to do it properly. We do have some veteran organizations that take the flags. Christian Warriors Retreat is one of those. We retire the colors properly with them, and so this would be a space for the public to come and maybe have a ceremony to retire them. So
wow.
Businesses that have large flags, we could swing by and pick them up and retire the colors
that's
instead of just
amazing.
tossing them
Some
away.
of the flags that you might see in Victoria, some of the larger ones that
Yes, ma'am.
maybe might need to be retired, or you see that there's.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh wow! And will you keep those flags that are retired there on display?
Well, when you retire the colors, you burn them.
Oh, you burn them?
Yes, ma'am. But there's a proper way to do so.
Oh wow! Would retiring the flag, you said, be open to the public to watch?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, the grand scale of things, if everything goes the way we want,
right.
that would be something that we do.
Oh, I think that's amazing too. So, I don't know how to ask this. So Colton Rush and his dog Eli.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you know about this young man.
I know very little. I do know I do know a little about the story, but I know Colton was hit by a sniper, and his dog Eli wouldn't leave, and so Eli's back home with Colton's family, and actually Gilbert has one of the puppies from Eli. So, and that Governor Perry has tied to those dogs.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am. And so that's what I know on Colton and the Rusk. And the Rusk family is, we honor them. They've shown up at the Battle for the Monument, and of course we pay honor to Mr. Rusk and the whole
right.
family,
right.
for his sacrifice.
Wow.
And they bring Eli with them, which is a great honor also.
What breed of dog is Eli?
He is a black, I believe he's a lab.
A lab.
Mixer. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, because he's in the, I see the rendering for the monument.
Yes, ma'am. We actually had
a
local, we did have that picture,
mm-hmm.
and we did have a local veteran
mm-hmm.
who went and posed with a picture and make it exact detail with the dog, so we could hand it over to Mr. Hinojosa to be able to make that monument.
To make an exact
yes,
replica. That's amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
So, may I be so bold as to ask what a monument costs, or how? Or let me ask. Maybe I'll ask you a better way or a different way. Where are you in the process of raising money for this monument?
We are probably at 10 to 15%.
10 to 15%.
Yes, ma'am. I do have. The activity to raise the funds has been limited the past few years. I think we're right at 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been meeting, and we have big events planned for next year.
Wonderful.
To raise even bigger funds,
yes.
to make it more of a reality for everybody.
More awareness. Do you have a guideline, or do you have a specific timeline that you say, within 10 years we'd like to see this, within 5 years we'd like to see it?
I would like to see the whole thing complete within 3 to 5 years.
Within 3 to 5 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, that would be my goal.
At
least to get everything started, to know that it's being completed. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know about the other monuments that are here in Victoria?
I do know of the Korean War monument.
Right.
Yeah, I believe that's in Shenandoah.
In Shenandoah,
yes,
yes,
ma'am.
right?
I have actually spoken with that organization, with their president. I know we speak very bluntly to each other. He's an awesome gentleman, and with what I do is how I met him. With my line of work is how I met this gentleman, and we were speaking, and he likes Honor 361 and what we stand for, and so I told him we were going to honor Korean War veterans also.
Right.
And he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, we would like to move your monument to our monument once we get it built, to keep that honor there for you guys."
So were the people who put the Korean monument together willing to move it?
Well, that's what he's working on, because that, you know, they like where it's at. It's been there for
Right.
years.
Sure.
And I totally understand that, and I respect
Right.
that. What we would like to do is honor them the way they would like to be honored, and
Right.
to the fullest extent. And if that means moving their monument, and we're still going to honor them. If they do not wish to do so, we're going to honor that, and we'll still build something to honor them for that.
So, do you have other fundraising ideas in mind that you want to pitch maybe this evening?
Oh, we
or-
do. I think me and a couple of the board members were talking yesterday. Once this event is over, we're going to look into probably a skeet shoot, a golf tournament. I know we did a swim bike run, almost like a triathlon a few years ago, one of the first events they did, and we might try that again. That did very well. Or just anything that could raise significant funds to help the cause.
Sure. And does your board meet monthly? Does it
We
meet
do. We meet monthly. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I think you might have said that earlier.
That's okay.
Okay, so you've met, and I have recently met several Korean veterans
Yes,
as well. And you said in your line of work. So tell me a little bit about in your line of work.
In my line of work.
In your line of work.
Well, I swore I am a nurse.
Uh-huh.
And I swore I'd never work in a nursing home because I started out in the ER, and the past 10 years I've been working in a nursing home.
Do you really?
Yes, ma'am. And actually I work for Twin Pines,
Uh-huh.
and actually I just got a promotion, so I work for the management company that manages Twin Pines.
Oh, cool.
And so within doing that and that whole process, I get to meet a lot of the older generation,
Mhm.
and this gentleman was one of those gentlemen.
Mhm.
And he saw one of the pictures on my wall, and we started speaking about the military and our experiences, and then I told him about Honor 361, and he wound up being the president for the Korean War veterans here locally.
Oh, wow.
And so that's how we started that discussion.
Mhm.
And so that's how that started going. And in my line of work, I get to meet all those gentlemen, not just from there, but from Vietnam, World War II, and just get to honor them. Most of the time, I don't even tell them I'm a veteran. I just listen to what they have to say.
And the Marines. You were in the Marine
Yes,
Corps.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So I like to just sit there and listen to their stories and what everything means to them. So it's a big honor to do that.
Oh, I agree. I really first had contact at Twin Pines,
Mhm.
working on a project, that I had finished prior to South Bridge Street Live, and it was just amazing. And I thought I would love to have more time to spend. And one of the things that I learned was that with people with dementia, because we were kind of talking about this before we started airing, was that they need about 10-15 minutes. I just thought that this was an interesting thing that I had heard.
Mm-hmm.
They need about 10-15 minutes of just talking to you before their memories become clear, depending on, of course, in what phase they are in their dementia.
Correct.
And so that really helped me or enabled me to slow down while I was there and to really listen. So I just think that that's such an amazing thing.
I'm glad you caught on to that, because that's what a lot of people don't realize. When you're interacting with someone with dementia,
Mhm.
it's not so much in the final stages. You're just listening to them and what they're trying to say, because to them, what happened 30 years ago just happened yesterday, and it's
Mhm.
so real to them. And so if you just, I don't want to say just go along with it, but just have that discussion with them and just listen, they feel validated in everything that's going on.
Mhm.
What I find is that a lot of people will argue with them, or no, that didn't happen yesterday, that happened a long time ago, why are you talking about it? Just listen to
Right.
what they have to say, and everything starts coming back around in short pieces. And but with dementia, it is a terrible disease. It
Mhm.
affects all the senses.
Mhm.
And there are some community resources in town that help educate people
Mhm.
and staff members on how to interact at the different stages of dementia. Everything from their tactile to how they see to how they hear and how they process
How many
conversation.
years have you been a nurse?
10 years.
10 years. How many years have you worked? You said you never work in a nursing home, but isn't that kind of how that always works?
Yes.
I would
Yeah,
never.
I never did.
I would never.
I learned not to say that.
I would never
So-
be live. I'm too nervous. So when in the 10 years that you have been working there, or the 10 years that you've been a nurse, how many years, sorry, have been in the nursing home?
9.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
So you worked in ER and then went right into nursing. Well, I want to talk more about the vets
Okay, great.
in the nursing home. I have a couple of questions for you, just specifically for this, which is, and again, these are kind of deeper questions, but
Okay.
the vets that I know of the Korean War, but not too many from World War II are still living.
Correct.
Okay, so this is where we're sort of ending in that time
Yes,
where
ma'am.
you can visit with them is coming to an end.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the Korean and Vietnam War. Have you noticed that maybe how they are willing to talk about things? This, like I said, this might be way too heavy, but I think I feel like certain veterans from certain wars are more apt to talk about their experiences, and the elderly more apt to talk about their experiences than even veterans my own age to talk about their experiences.
Yes,
but that's changed.
Yes, ma'am. Well, my father is a Vietnam veteran. I've never heard him speak of it. He will not speak of it. And a lot of the veterans that they won't speak, they will tell you they're a veteran and that they were proud to serve, but they won't speak of the older generation won't speak of their experiences too much. And neither, some of the veterans that I know, well, a lot of the veterans that I know won't speak of them either unless they know that you've been there or.
Yeah, I see. I just noticed that like many veterans my age or a little bit older don't speak or tell stories or talk about it as much. And I think sometimes that the elderly sometimes it's just nice having a new set of ears or even someone who's just enthusiastic about hearing because it's so.
It is, and I think a lot of it has to do with the adjustment period also, being able to accept what you've done and what you saw, and being able to adapt to being back in the civilian world, so to speak.
Well, I didn't realize that Honor 361, I thought it was exclusive to the Afghan and Iraqi wars. Now, the Honor 361 monument is, but the idea extends to all of
Yes, ma'am, to all veterans.
the wars. That's amazing.
Yes,
do we know offhand how many we've lost in the last 10 years? Too?
Last year we had 7 names to go on the T-shirt for the battle for the monument. This year we have 29. That we have found of those who gave a sacrifice in the 361 area code. So we have some here from Victoria, some Mathis, Corpus, Orange, just throughout the area code.
All right. So going back to how you build a monument, what are the steps? So you have an organization, a board of directors. You have some financial goals.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about. Do you know much about the artist?
Francis Hinojosa. All I know, he's from his whole family has been. His father was a famous Mexican sculptor and artist, and he, like I said, he loves painting, but his sculptures are sculpting is just amazing. And so when we saw his work and we spoke to him, well, Gilbert spoke to him. I didn't. I was already done when I came on. He just loved the idea and he decided he could do that. And so when we sent him the picture, he's already have the miniature. He has the first miniature done, but he's working on the larger scale. And
how tall is the monument?
The monument's going to be pretty. I don't have the exact dimensions, but it's going to be pretty tall. I want to say.
Like taller than me? Like
taller
than
yes,
5'2"?
Probably, yes, ma'am. A little bit taller than that, yes, ma'am. It'll be a little bit larger than actual size for the. So it'll be nice bronze.
A bronze statue. Yes, wow, and you're at 15%. And so if somebody wants to or feels moved to help and participate in any way, let's talk then about just a financial donation, but talk about other ways in which perhaps as a community we can help to assure that your monument is a success and you've met your timeline.
We do have a website where you can see about the organization. You can go on there and make donations. You can go to honor361.org and read about us, our mission, about Mr. Hinojosa, the sculptor. and see pictures from our events and maybe what we're going to hold in the future. And so we do have a web design company that helped us with that, and that's how everybody registered. We've been able to link all that to our website, so you can actually go, those who registered have registered for that battle for the monument on our website or through Eventbrite. So you can do multiple things through our website.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not too tech savvy, but they got that.
That was close enough. That was tech savvy enough. I understood. If I understood, yeah.
You can also donate on PayPal. I believe that we have that set up.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. And Saturday, how many people do you expect to? I know you've got teams, but tell me about.
So the public's welcome. Last year, if it's anything like last year's, we expect a few hundred, probably 200 to 300 people.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. We will have some vendors there to, for people to buy some fitness swag or some supplements or
fitness swag. That's so funny you should say that. Fitness swag is really important.
It is. I didn't realize how important it was.
Yeah, to the athletes.
When we had when Kat called me and told me, hey, we have these guys and these guys are going to donate.
So what's in your fitness swag? I want to hear about it. What's in it?
We have T-shirts, supplements
Awesome.
from all these different companies, headbands. So just different things from the company. And
like those cool 80s sweatbands? Because I don't see those much. Or thigh, like those.
No, they're not the ones you tie around your knee, anything like that. The ones we wore when we were in high school.
Yeah.
No, those aren't back
Maybe
in
you
style.
wore those in high school. That was way before my time.
With my parachute pants. Ooh,
okay, so something fun is that I wonder if anybody will recognize that you were, oh come on, we have to talk about it, that you were day 300 in the 365 project, the 365th project. I can't stand being live, I think. It makes me so nervous.
You're doing well.
Numbers, it's numbers. So anyway, so you were 300.
Yes, you called me into that very
yes.
well.
No, well, you were so much fun. So let's talk about that story, because that was awesome.
Okay.
I knew that I wanted some special things for special days. Like for day 100 was the 100 Club. And then as day 300 was approaching, I just thought, how could I find someone who would be brave enough to don the Gerard Butler face, and he was yielding a sword. What did we end up with? So you agreed to do it. It was super fun. And you met here in the studio. Do you remember?
We did, yes. And I was shirtless.
Wait, do you remember that I was like, please just go shirtless? Because you have to, it's the rendering. Like, this is what 300 looks like.
It was, and the guy was a warrior. And so I was in no shape to take my shirt off. So you ended up with a shirt on. But what did we do? What did we do for your cloak? It was like a bandana. It was a bandana or something.
Oh my gosh!
And did something with it.
That was so much fun. Yeah, it was like I used an actual scarf clip.
Yeah.
And then you had the.
You had a good sword. The sword was nice.
The sword was nice.
Yes.
Where did that sword come from? Oh my gosh. Do you remember I told you my teenager ended up having the sword in his closet, and I was like, I don't even know if I want to know.
I can't remember the shield.
I remember the shield. Okay, so the shield was Captain America's shield.
Oh yeah. I remember looking at it and saying, hey, my son has one of these.
But it was cool that you took that picture. So I want to know, did you get some grief?
I got a lot of grief.
Did you really?
Yes, I did, from my friends and from work, of course, my boss.
Aww.
And so, yeah. But it was
what
fun.
Kind of grief? Like, what's the level of grief?
Well, he passed his phone around in our morning meeting. We had a meeting every morning for the plans of the day and to cover what happened the day
at
before.
Twin Pines?
Twin Pines North, yes.
Oh, yes, at Twin Pines North. I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Hopkins so gracefully was showing everybody the picture and said, really, that's him? And,
oh, your picture?
Oh, yes, it was great.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. So I think somebody else showed him, and they just passed it around. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I was happy to oblige. I just thought it was neat that you were, you can maybe sometimes find that you understand the spirit of someone.
Yes.
When, not that they say yes to zany things,
right.
Maybe that you're a little bit more daring than most. But just what a great heart, and it was so neat to me to find out, I guess, when I first read about Honor 361, and of course then I saw it on Facebook, and I realized we had covered it a little bit in Victoria Motion, but I really wanted to get to understand better what were the steps and process of building a monument, and what kind of team does that take, and
You know, we're learning as we go. None of us have ever done it, and
Right.
so we are learning as we go. We're learning we have to coordinate with the city and certain other aspects of local government
Right.
to get that done. And so when we get there, I think we're going to be prepared
Right.
to present everything and do it accordingly and to get it done. One of the benefits of living in Victoria is a very patriotic, and we do have a very patriotic community with a lot of
Right.
patriots. A lot of veterans live here,
Right.
and so we have a lot of support.
We do.
Uh,
We have a lot of veterans
do.
here.
Yes, ma'am. And not just Honor 361, but we have a lot of other organizations that keep veterans busy and their families busy, and they keep resources
Right.
that they may need for.
Well, what about Vet Kids?
Vet Kids is awesome.
Yeah, tell me about. Okay, well, tell me about Vet Kids because I also saw that as well.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I believe Crystal Hancock
Mhm.
spearheaded it with myself and Mike Allen. Mike Allen is an amazing individual with veterans, keeps everything going, and at the vet center downtown. But Crystal got us together, and she had an idea of, hey, what about kids? You know,
Mhm.
what about veterans kids? Because they face a different struggle. You know,
Mhm.
moving. You
Right.
know, moving all the time. with their-
You said that, right? Your father was.
Well, I didn't grow up as a military brat, so to speak,
Okay.
but he did serve.
Hey,
prior
watch
to-
it.
There you go. So, and so
Moving.
that being said, and you know, they deal with mom or dad having PTSD or going through the issues that they have to
Or
go
being
through.
deployed. Or,
Exactly, all
right.
these different things going on, and so she came up with a wonderful idea in this organization, and she has tremendous support through you know, all the veteran organizations kind of help each other out when there's different activities going on, and I think that with the kids they do so more with that, and I think that's awesome.
Do you know
once-
what some of the programs that they are doing
they
for the
do?
Vet Kids?
They go skating, I believe, once a month for free skate world outlets.
So it's like a group of the kids doing things together.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's
Paintball.
awesome.
They go paintballing, they go fishing, they do all kinds of things. Whatever she comes up with that the community can get around, she does a really good job of.
And is Vet Kids a local organization, or is that not a franchise, but
no,
you know, it's
yes, no, it's local.
Oh, it's
something
local.
that she just, I believe, she's maybe the only one. She may not be. I'm not sure, but she's doing an amazing job.
Do you know of any event that they have coming up?
There is a Easter egg hunt coming
Uh-huh.
up in a couple of weeks,
Oh, cool.
just for vet kids and their families. So that's going to be a good event.
Did you travel as Marie?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about where you went.
A lot of Marines go to Okinawa,
Mhm.
and was blessed to go to mainland Japan.
Mhm.
Went to the Philippines.
I lived in Korea. That's why
Really?
I asked. My father was a senior
Never went to
master
Korea.
sergeant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Heard it's cold.
I heard it was cold. Yeah, it's cold. It's cool. Like that's what I remember.
Right.
Being 14 and 15 and living in a city that the technology is at that time far more advanced of anything I'd ever seen in my entire life. And to live in I almost think that every child should experience. One, I think every child should experience a third world country. I'll get off the
Yes.
soapbox in just a second.
Go ahead, go ahead.
And that also to be just in a country where you have to deal with someone always in front of you and behind you and on every side of you, because there was no place in Seoul where
Right.
we were where there wasn't always someone right next to you. And just to experience that culture. So like tell me a little bit about what you remember about the Japanese culture.
Japanese culture, very clean and polite.
Uh-huh.
You didn't see dirt on the street. You didn't see trash on the street. You didn't see the kids, the younger kids were very well mannered, very polite. You did see some of the older generations. The older generation did not like the younger generation of Americans, of course. But
Huh.
yes, and
Yes.
so a lot of the businesses there are mom and pop shops, so to speak. So when you go out in town and you go shopping or you're gonna go eat, they put their hands up and say, "Hey, it's no Americans," and they wouldn't let you in.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
find that at all in Korea.
Not so much Okinawa, but in mainland Japan.
Right, oh,
if
in
you
mainland,
went in
yes.
villages.
I understand.
But Tokyo was amazing.
Uh-huh.
The Philippines on the other end of it, it's a very poor country.
Mhm.
Getting back to what you said, when you believe that every child should visit a third world country,
Mhm.
I'm kind of along the same lines. To see some of the freedoms that they take for granted,
Right.
and just some of the things as food,
Mhm.
air conditioning, things like that, being able to go out and buy what you want
Mhm.
when you want it. Going to the Philippines, they may they still have villages or grass huts in the middle of nowhere in the jungles.
Right.
And, wood floors, cement floors, just floors, living in a hut, getting clean water, things like that people take for granted every day. And so to see that and realize what you have here in the United States is and to appreciate it, I think it would be great for the youth to maybe have a deeper appreciation for what this country has to offer.
Right.
Yes,
And what they're afforded here.
Yes, ma'am.
For the men and women who have fought for our freedoms.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Well, going back to the vet kids very quickly, you said there are a lot of veterans here in Victoria. Where are the closest bases, and what are most of them going to be retired military, or they're going to be active duty? Are they going to be
As far as military bases?
Yes.
I think Air Force in San Antonio. And
Oh,
Corpus.
okay. All right. So you are talking about the major cities.
Well, no, veterans is just here in Victoria. We have a lot of people who have served and gotten out of the military.
Right. Okay, that's
or
what I was
retired.
saying. These are
Yes, ma'am.
retired,
Well,
or
they-
for whatever reason.
Yeah, they served their time.
They're
Whether it's 2
veterans,
years, 4
period.
years, 6 years.
Yes.
Or some of them have retired. Done 20 years or more and have retired. Or just. So,
Yeah, my dad was from New York.
wow.
He was a late immigrant from Switzerland, and the reason why I tell you is because he met my mother, who was from Cuero,
Wow.
and he was stationed in Port Lavaca.
Really?
And when because I didn't realize that Port Lavaca had been a military base. Did you know this?
No, but I did find out that Beeville used to be a military base.
Oh, and Beeville used to be a military
Yes,
base
I believe
as well.
it was a Air Force base, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And I think the base housing now is like government housing or something at this point. But,
So then let me make a transition. Let's go back to being in the homes with being at Twin Pines North and meeting some of the, I would assume mostly men, the veterans at that time. And maybe the women too. Do you have any stories? Do you remember any of their stories?
In the Marines, one of our the most famous Marine is Chesty Puller. He was very hardcore, so to speak.
Famous Marine.
His name is Chesty Puller.
Okay, Chesty Puller.
Yes, ma'am.
From where?
Where's he from? I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you mean of all time?
Of all time, one of the most.
Oh, the famous Marine of all time.
Chesty Puller.
Chesty
We pray to
Puller.
Chesty Puller every night and all these good things. He has a lot of famous quotes, which I can't say here today, but we did
I
have.
don't know. It's going to be on YouTube. I think it'll be okay.
He did have some.
No, go ahead. Don't. Yeah, that's fine.
I think
Have
one
some
of his famous
restraint.
quotes were somebody told him they were surrounded. He said, "Good, we got them right where we want them."
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
that's just hardcore right there.
Right,
There's
yeah.
no excuse not to keep
Hardcore.
fighting. So
Yes.
I found out that this one of the new admissions we had coming in was a Marine veteran. He was in his 90s, and so he had his Marine Corps cap on when he came in. His family was very proud of his service. And when I went down there to talk to him, we spoke, and I told him to tell me about his service and where he was at. And then I found out he served with Chesty Puller, and he had a picture with, and I just about lost it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like
Chesty Puller was a real person, not just a figure of.
No, ma'am, he was a real
the
Marine.
Corps. Oh,
and
really?
His life was his service was kind of mythical, so to speak. Now, so they don't make them like that anymore, so to speak.
Right, and
But
he was in Twin Pines.
not Chesty Puller, but this
No,
gentleman who
yes,
served with him.
I understood that.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
at Twin Pines North.
Yes, ma'am. So when
Wow.
I was freaking out about that. I really like to hear that, and he was able to show me pictures with Chesty, and I was calling my friends that were in the Corps. I was like, "Hey, I know somebody who served with Chesty," and they were like, "Wow!" So we had a good time sharing and seeing how much the Corps has evolved and changed. And I told him about some of the technology way back when I was in, and some of the technology these young guys have now. And he was like, "Wow, we didn't have that." So it was nice. So he was only there for a little bit for some rehab, but he was able to get strong enough and go home.
Could you hear their stories? Could you listen to their stories
all day long? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All day long.
That's wonderful. So this Saturday,
This Saturday,
Battle
8
for the
o'clock.
Monument.
8 o'clock.
Burpees. There will be burpees.
There will be burpees. There will be cleans and jerks and box jumps and double unders and all kinds of things. Stuff I am not good at. So.
And we can find out more about Honor 361 on Facebook.
Find out on Facebook. Look up Honor 361. You can look up Battle for the Monument. You can also go on our website, honor361.org.
Cool. And then, was there anybody that you wanted to give a shout out to, or
To some of our sponsors.
Sure, absolutely. I'm fine with that. I think that's awesome.
I don't know all of them off the top of my head, so please forgive me if I forget. We got Vision One Solutions, who did our website. We do have Twin Pines North. We have Victoria Radio Group, Victoria Radio Works. I'm sorry.
Right.
Victoria Car Group, Automotive Car Group, and there's many more that are platinum sponsors that I forgot.
Have just been fundamental in putting this all together for you guys.
I would love to say that it was hard work and everything, but I really didn't have that much to putting it together.
Right.
Kat Munoz, Ray Bazan, and Isaac Amiala, they're the ones who spearheaded this, because CrossFit is their baby, and this event is spectacular every year, and it's getting bigger every year, so we're excited.
That's
awesome. I'm really excited.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to come in
Thank you for
and
having
visit.
me.
Of course. Thank you for, almost going topless and yielding a shield and
yeah, no. But shout outs to all the veteran organizations to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, there's a lot of them, and the Peer Network, the Vet Center, Vet Kids, Heroes on the Water, a lot of Christian Warriors Retreat, of course.
Warriors Weekend,
of course.
will come up in May,
Yeah, they're getting ready for that. So it's a lot going on, and we appreciate all the support from the community.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, what do you guys think?